And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, amidst all the big new releases for the summer, we're going to take a look at an older game here called Star Wars: The Queen's Gambit. Now this is a game that is based on the first episode of Star Wars that came out. I believe this came out pretty close to the same time that the movie came out. Now, of course, it is cool these days to hate on that movie, even though quite a few people went to see it, and quite a few, most people under the age of 15 really do like that movie. But it's cool to hate on the movie. But I'm not a Star Wars apologist. There are things about the movie I'm not a big fan of, but there are some things I really like, and I really like the last sequence of the movie. I thought the battle on the planet, the battle of the Gungans versus the droids, the fight between Obi-Wan and the Qui-Gon and Darth Maul was a fantastic lightsaber battle. We finally got to see a really cool lightsaber battle, and good space battle too. I like the whole thing. And this game tries to recreate that experience. But not only that, it looks awesome. Let me show you. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at just the glory that is this whole game. I mean, you can see here, we're looking down, there's a 3-level themed palace here. Over here, you can see that Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are fighting Darth Maul there. And you can see the little walls that stop them. Over here, there's guys running into the palace. Over here is Anakin's spaceship getting prepared to launch and destroy the main ship. And then on this side, you can see more of the palace. In the palace, you can see destroyer droids and battle droids. There's those two dweebs in the council room. Down here, we have a bunch of people, Captain Panake, and then there's the Red Queen and the Purple Queen. One of them is the real Queen, and we'll get to that in a second. And then over here is the other side of the battlefield. There's really, like I said, a lot going on in this game, and when you take a look at all of it together, you can see just how much there is. But we're here to talk about how the game plays, so let's get to that. Alright, the way players are going to play this, each side, whether it's a 2-player game or a 4-player game, each side has 2 decks of cards. The cards have the same back. One deck is for the battlefield and for space, where Anakin is. The other deck is for the palace. Now, essentially what you have in this game is you have 4 different battlefields that are going on. The goal of the game is for the good guys is to do 2 things. They need to have a majority of people in the throne room. Up here on top is the throne room. We have the 2 viceroys here. These guys are essentially non-entities in this game, but they do count as a person in the throne room. They can't be killed or anything else. So you need to get at least 3 guys there. However, if there's a battle droid in the throne room, then you would need to get 4 guys there, etc. They also must destroy all the robots, and that would be by Anakin completing his trip over here. There's another battlefield where the Jedi are fighting, and the reason this battlefield's important because whichever ones win, let's say these guys kill Darth Maul, then they can both run in and help in the palace battle, or if Darth Maul kills them, then he can run in and help in the palace battle. And then finally over here we have the big battle for Naboo. Now what players are going to be doing is they're going to have a handful of 10 cards, 5 from each deck. And they're going to look through these cards and they're going to place these cards face down in a pile, and they're going to be played one at a time. Whoever has this token will go first. They'll play their top card, and then your opponent will play his top card, then you play your second card, etc. You can play cards from either the battlefield or the palace, it doesn't matter. Each turn you'll draw 2 from each. Now most of the time these cards will give you a choice of what you can do. For example, this Theed Palace card lets Darth Maul recover 2 health, or you can move and attack with 2 battle droids. This one here lets you attack with Darth Maul or move and attack with 2 battle droids. Darth Maul or 1 battle droid. And here are the special ability. Now they're not all Darth Maul and battle droids. There's all different things in here. Maybe you can move 1 destroyer droid and 2 battle droids, or 2 destroyer droids or 2 battle droids. It's your choice. and so you can move and attack with them. The battlefield will be the same way, except in the battlefield you will often have groups of, like I can do 2 groups of droids, or I can move a destroyer droid here to the Theed Palace. So many times there's a possibility to put more droids in the palace. Also, there's a possibility for more droids to land on the battlefield. Now, when you move and shoot at stuff, what you're going to be doing most of the time is in combat. And in combat, you're simply going to roll different colored dice based on what you are. Each time you do a hit, your opponent will roll defensive dice, and each shield will block 1 hit. If most of the people on the board, like the destroyer droids and the palace guards, if they take a hit, then they're going to just die instantly. Everybody else has a health track. For example, there's Darth Maul's health track. You can see that it will take, he has 15 points of life that before he succumbs. And over there you see Qui-Gon's and Obi-Wan Kenobi's tracks. And then over on this side here, there are a few of the things like the battle tanks and the troop transports also have tracks. Now, when you move, for example, over here, there's a really cool feature. There's a shield here, and you cannot shoot into the shield. So you have to move in and shoot the shield. If you manage to kill one of these Gungan shield generators, then the shield is down, and then you can shoot into the shield, which is bad for the good guys because these tanks are really powerful. The way this game works is there's obviously more droids here than there is Gungans, and the droids are more powerful. For example, this tank rolls 3 red dice and 2 gray dice when it attacks. The catapult rolls 2 red dice and 1 gray. The battle droids and the Gungans each roll 1 gray dice each, but there's 4 of these guys per unit. Why would you even fight over here? Every time you destroy an entire unit over here, whatever type it is, the person who does that will take a bonus card. They essentially will take a card from the top of either of their decks, and they will place it here in the middle, and then next time, when they're picking their 4 cards, they will put those 4 cards on top of the bonus card that they have, so they essentially have 5 actions next turn. If you kill multiple units, you will get multiple bonus cards. Sometimes you get bonus cards from killing other things. If you look here, for example, this tells us about some of the units here, and we can see Darth Maul, battle droids and destroyer droids, how far each of them can move, what they attack with, what dice they defend with. But notice it says the Naboo player draws 5 bonus cards to play next round if you kill Darth Maul. And it's very similar over here for the good guys, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Captain Panaka, Palace Guards, etc. You have all that. Now, there is an importance over here. You can see we're looking at this upside down, but there's 2 queens, a red queen and the purple queen. One of these queens is secretly the real queen. You have a token that shows that so that people can see that. If the real queen's killed, then all the movement of the palace guards goes down from 4 to 2. So essentially that's how the game is working. The palace guards have special cards where they can often go up windows and maybe they can shoot up to the top, or they can run up and down the stairs. So they come up here at the end of level 1, run through level 2, come up through 2, and you can see there's a lot of people in the palace. Fortunately, you know, their troops are a little bit better. The queens and Captain Panaka are good at shooting, and you want to get the Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, both of them if possible, probably not though. Now the whole thing revolves around this spaceship part of the game. So let's take a look at the spaceship part of the game over here, because this is pretty critical to how the game works. It almost acts as a timing mechanic. If Anakin plays a card that lets him decide that he's going to move, they're in the good guy's battlefield, for example, Anakin. So you play one of these, and instead of using a troop in the battlefield, you decide to move Anakin. We're going to take a look at the Starfighter cover that he's currently in front of. You see there's a Starfighter at 3, 4, and 11, and then it shows 2 gray dice here. So the bad guy will roll those 2 gray dice. He's rolled 1. He has another fighter, so he puts it on 7. The good guy then, the person playing Anakin, is going to take 2 6-sided dice and roll them. He rolled a 4. We look at 4. 4 is blocked. Anakin doesn't make it through. His turn's over. If he did not roll 4, let's say he rolled a 5. 5 was clear, so he would fly to this one, and then his turn would be over. Once Anakin makes it to the last one over here, he destroys the droid ship. However, the dark side has a chance to play multiple cards on top of these, so Anakin would have to go through this. If he put 2 cards here, he'd have to go through this card, then this card, then the guys below to get there. So the bad guy can slow them down, but basically all this is a timing mechanic so that the battle in the palace and the battle over here can be fought. And that's how it happens. Once Anakin does reach the main ship, then every droid on the board is shut down, and then the rebels simply have to have 3 guys here. Now, if they can't get 3 guys there, then the bad guys wins. And it's always possible that Darth Maul will start running through the palace and killing guards. It could be pretty crazy there towards the end. Now, I think, whether you like the movie or not, and a lot of you pretend you don't, you will still like this game. Now, it's a very light game. It uses the concept right around the same time this game came out, Battlecry came out by Richard Borg, in which you use the card and then you got to do something on parts of the battlefield. This took that same concept. Here you're playing different cards, and then you get to control different parts of the thing. And you can concentrate on just one. You can just play all your cards about that duel. And if you concentrate on one, you'll probably win that one, but you can get smacked around on the other. You cannot ignore that battlefield. The battlefield is the most useless part of the game in a sense because it's a distraction, just like in the movie. But if you ignore the battle, you get the other side's going to get tons of bonus cards, tons of them. You can't ignore the lightsaber duel because if whoever wins that duel, that Jedi or that Sith, runs into that palace and just starts wreaking havoc. The palace is where the game is won or lost, and the Anakin is that timing frame. It's not a perfect game. There's obviously a lot of luck involved in the game, but it's so... When we talk about games that just breathe theme, this is one of those. This game, the pieces are fantastic. One of the things I like about the plastics in this game are they're soft plastics. You know, you can bounce them off the wall, and the whole thing, the three-dimensional. Now, the fact that it is three-dimensional means that if you shimmy the table at all, it can fall over. And I've seen a game or two where there was the collapsing palace of Naboo in it, but for the most part, that's not a big deal. But man, the game even came with tons of extra plastics that you could use to replace the different pieces. But in the artwork, and I just really got a kick out of this. It is a 2-player or 4-player game, but even when I've played it with 4 players before, and it's still essentially a 2-player game. They just work together as one unit. Think of it as the same way as War of the Ring is a 2-player or 4-player game. So, should you hunt this one down? Well, it's very pricey to find these days on eBay and things, and it will probably never be reprinted. But if you have the opportunity, you find it at a garage sale or you find a good price from someone else or someone's willing to trade it, definitely pick it up. It's a very light miniature war thing, but it plays out in a very fun, evocative way. It's a game that will probably never leave my collection because of how cool it is, but at the same time brings forth a very fun back and forth. I like that card mechanic of doing the different things. It really feels like you're playing the last 20 minutes of that movie. Just a fantastic game. Star Wars Queen's Gambit.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.
Yeah?